Okay, so as usual, let's pull up the GitHub page for the course. And this is github.com/cuttlefish with 2 H's /Python for data analysis with dashes between those words. And what we're going to do today is lesson 4. You can either scroll down here or you can just go to lessons, click on lesson 4. So this is a different kind of file. Now we're doing, if you go back, you'll see lessons 2 and 3 were markdown files. These are just text files with some basic markup or markdown format. And today we're going to be doing for the rest of the quarter this IPython notebook or IPyNB files. But you'll see in GitHub they are rendered it looks like markdown format. In fact, this top part of the file actually is markdown format. And then you'll see as you scroll down, you'll see there are some cells. And as we'll learn, what these cells are, these are actual commands. These are Python commands that are executed inside the web browser. But under the hood, they're actually being executed like you were using the Python interpreter on the command line. It's the same idea, it's just a different way to enter commands and view output. The nice thing is that it's all stored in a single file that you can save, and you can export it as an HTML file. You can export it as a markdown file or any kind of format that you want. You can export it as a PDF. The HTML output is really nice because you can, for example, you can write this code and then send it to a collaborator. And we lost our video. Let's see if we can get that back up. And you can send that code to a collaborator who doesn't need to have any knowledge. Well, hopefully they have some knowledge of Python so they can read your code, but they don't need any of the files that you have. You're just sending them an HTML version. And then on GitHub, it will render the notebooks also in a nice fashion so that they're right here. So anyway, this is our lesson for today. And what first thing we'll do, as with every lesson, is we'll download it. Now, so I'm going to open up the terminal. And I'm going to change into, so if you haven't already, so for the new people, you're going to want to type mkdir SIO209. If you already have that directory in your home directory, you don't need to do this. So if you don't, type that and hit enter. And then you're going to cd SIO209. And then you can type ls. I've got some older folders in here, but the one that everyone should have is lessons, this one here. If you don't have that, you can type mkdir lessons, make directory lessons, and hit enter. And then you can change into that folder, so change directory lessons, cd lessons, hit enter. And if you type ls now, you list the contents of that directory. There should be a bunch of various things in there that we made in our previous lessons. And so, yeah, there's.
I thought that, and I keep trying this and I must just be doing something wrong, but when you want to just, like, so say you go into CD lessons, and then you just want to go back to SIO209, when you hit CD SIO209, it doesn't work?
Yeah. Yeah, so the question is, if you're in lessons here, and you want to go up to SIO209, if you type SIO209, it doesn't work. So the thing that's important to keep in mind is that all of those, when you type CD something, you're typing a path.
Oh, so you can't go backwards?
You can, but you're not like that, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So because it is only looking in where you are now.
Yeah.
So if you just type, if you just start typing the name of a file or rather a directory, it's going to only look where you are now. If you want to go up one, you just type cd dot dot.
Oh, that's what it is. 'Cause
Yeah.
I kept typing CD, but then that takes you back to your.
Yeah. So if you want to go to SIO209, you could type cd dot dot. That would work. Or you could type cd that, which would be your home, and then SIO209. This is useful if you don't know where you are, or you for whatever reason, like say you're writing a bash script and you don't want to leave it up to chance, like where the computer might be at that particular moment. You can just say, I'm going to cd from my home folder. I know SIO209 is in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. For some reason, I thought that CD would move you back even. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all relative. So this is where this idea of relative and absolute paths comes in. For a lot of what we do on a daily basis, relative paths are fine. They're easier. You don't want to have to type the whole thing, but you need to always keep in mind like where you are. And this is why having your path in, or having your current working directory, I should say, it's not this. The path. Remember, a path is a special thing that refers to all the different file paths where your computer will look for commands. But having this present working directory in your prompt is really useful. Okay, so what we're going to do is download this file to our lessons folder. There's a couple ways we can do that. One is we can click on this button here that says raw, and this will show us this shows us the content of the file. It's a JSON format. The extension is IPyNB, IPython Notebook, but we can view it as a text file. And then you can go up here and say save as, and we'll save it to it's going to be under our home folder, which is this little house with your username next to it. And then you scroll down. I've got a lot of stuff in my home folder, but SIO209, and then lessons, and page source is what we want. Yeah, question?
Do you want the .txt?
Technically, no, we don't. So let's try that again without it.
Yeah, it doesn't give page source as an option for me. Just text or all file.
Text is good. Yeah, but we can remove that extension, and then we say don't append .txt. So if we then do we do an ls now, we have two copies of the same file. You can see there they have the same exact number of bytes, but one has .txt and the other one doesn't. So that's, if we wanted to, we could do move. If we'd only had the .txt file, we could move, or in this case we're going to rename to this. Now what's going to happen when I type this command? When I enter this command? It renames it, but what else is it going to do? It's going to overwrite the other file, right? So it's going to do two things. I know that they're the same file because I just saved it twice with two different names. So and I can see that they're the same number of bytes. So I know they're the same file. So I'm just going to rename one as the other, and that's going to also overwrite the other one. And it's here. Now there's another way we can do this that I think might be more useful, and it's a good thing to learn anyway. So we're going to go back to the main file, and we're going to copy the path. So what I'm going to highlight the URL and then type Command C, or I could go up here and say copy, but better to start learning these shortcuts if you don't know them already. So I'm going to select the URL, type Command C, and now I'm going to go back to my terminal in the lessons folder. So I'm still here, and I'm going to type curl, C-U-R-L, which is a command that will download a file using a URL, and I'm going to use this option dash capital O, which will just keep the file name the same as it was on the server. And then in quotes, I'm going to paste that URL. So I just typed a double quote, Command V to paste, and then another double quote. So what this is doing is it's saying I want to download this URL from GitHub, and I just passed the exact URL from here. And this dash O is it just means that file is just going to be called lesson04.ipynb. So this is again going to overwrite what we have.
Luke, how come you did not the raw one? How come you went back? That makes
But I think raw would be fine too.
Okay.
I think that would give the same result. I haven't checked it, but I'm pretty sure the raw URL just tells GitHub that I want to see the text and not render it. Because what it's doing here is it's giving me all this nice other information and then just rendering the file within this little window, which is useful for most purposes. We could test it out. So okay, we're going to do that and then hit enter, and it's going to show that this download progress is 100% done. We get our prompt back, so it's completed. And now if we do an ls-l, which is our long format, okay, it's interesting. It's a little bit bigger file. Let me. Okay, so Amanda was right. We don't want to do this because see, we're getting all this extra HTML content.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were right. What I did was bad. So let's go to the raw. Click that, and now we're going to type that curl again. And this time we're using the raw version. And we're going to type ls-l again. And okay, good. We have the 330,458 bytes, which is this now what we have again. So that's how we learn. Yeah, I haven't tried this before. Usually I do the raw. I do the save as version, but I think just being able to type the curl is another way to do it. Maybe it's more useful, and you learn this command. So this is a way you can get files onto your computer using the terminal.
What's the difference between wget and curl?
Yeah, wget is another command. The wget is not provided with Mac OS, so you can install it, but wget and curl-o give you basically the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Now, we don't actually need to open that file just yet. We'll keep that there. We can do the first part of the lesson just using the web page from GitHub. So the first thing we're going to do is install Miniconda and learn how to work with Conda. So as it says here, Conda is an open source package management system and environment management system for installing multiple versions of software packages and their dependencies and switching easily between them. It works on Linux, OS X, and Windows, and was created for Python programs, but can package and distribute any software. So we're going to use this mainly for Python. So what we want to do is first install Miniconda 3. So we're going to click on this link, and if you want to just open a new tab, you can hit Command click. Mine didn't work. Let me try that again. All right, Command click is not working for me today. So regardless, we can always get back there. So depending on your platform, most of you are using Mac OS, but if you're using Linux or Windows, you can install those versions. And we want the Python 3.6 version of Miniconda. So this would be this link here in the center top. So we click on that. It's going to go to our downloads folder. And then we can open that up. And I believe we just use bash. So I don't really want to reinstall it at this particular moment. So I'm going to just show you what. So I'm going to open up a new tab and go to downloads. This is where it's saved. And I should be able to type bash Miniconda. And I'm gonna not do this, but I want you guys to run this and see and tell me what you get, because I don't want to reinstall it on my computer at this moment. What's that?
I was able to run it just with a
Okay. Okay.
Although it did tell me I needed to install a bunch of extra Xcode stuff. And I just said yes.
Okay. And it worked. Okay. So you should be able then to, if I open up this current folder, you should be able to double click on this, and it might ask you to install some Xcode software, but that should work automatically. You just say yes, and it will work. How are people? Is it working? You got it installed? Does anyone not have Miniconda installed yet? Okay. So it should be pretty straightforward. And I'm gonna.
You have to just keep hitting enter. Like I hit enter and you see the new user agreement.
Yep. Yeah.
And then it's asking if you accept the license terms, but it keeps having like please answer yes or no multiple times.
Are you typing? Are you typing yes, like
Yeah.
the way it asks you?
Yeah.
And is it just continually doing this?
Continue.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pause this, and I'll come around and help.